4 years ago, I paid $1 million to a stranger to have my baby because I couldn't get pregnant. And that woman, my surrogate, gave birth to 3 beautiful children for me. A girl, a boy, and another girl. And I fell in love with them. I thought they were my children, with my genes and my husband's genes. But today, 4 years later, that woman called again. She said, "I have good news. I'm pregnant again. Your 4th child is coming." And I said, "What? We don't have a contract anymore." And she laughed and said, "No, honey, this baby isn't yours. This baby is mine and Jake's. Jake, my husband." And when I went home and confronted him, everything fell apart. I realized that woman had been his mistress from the very beginning. And those 3 children I thought were mine were theirs. I paid $1 million for my husband's mistress to have their babies. And now she's pregnant again. And she doesn't want to hide anymore. She wants to take everything from me. Baby, come sit down. Because this story, honey, this one is about betrayal so deep, it rewired my understanding of human cruelty. My name is Eve. I'm 58 years old now. But this story begins when I was 50. 8 years ago, when I was still naive enough to believe that money could buy me the one thing I wanted most in the world: a family. Let me tell you where it started. I've been married to Jake Morrison for 15 years. Good marriage, or so I thought. He was a successful investment banker. I was a nurse at County General. Worked the night shift mostly. Long hours, hard work. But I loved it. Loved helping people. Loved feeling like I made a difference. Jake and I had a beautiful home in the suburbs. Nothing fancy, but comfortable. 3 bedrooms, white picket fence. The whole American dream setup. We had nice cars. Took vacations twice a year. Had a solid group of friends. Did dinner parties, wine tastings, all that middle-class comfort stuff. From the outside, we looked perfect. But we had one problem. One gaping hole in our perfect life. Children. We didn't have them, and I wanted them desperately. We'd been trying since year 3 of our marriage. 12 years of trying. 12 years of negative pregnancy tests. 12 years of hope and disappointment on an endless loop. I saw doctors. Lots of doctors. Got diagnosed with endometriosis at 35. Severe scarring on my fallopian tubes. Uterine fibroids. The works. They tried everything. Medication, surgery, cleared out the scar tissue twice. But it kept coming back. My body was fighting against itself. By the time I was 45, we moved on to fertility treatments. IUI first. 3 rounds. Nothing. Then IVF. The big guns. The expensive option. We did 3 full IVF cycles. Each one cost about $15,000. Each one failed. The embryos wouldn't implant. My uterus just rejected them, like my body was saying no, over and over. I was devastated. Each failure felt like a death, like losing a child I'd never even met. Jake tried to be supportive, held me when I cried, told me we'd figure it out, that we had options, that this wasn't the end. But I could see it wearing on him too. The disappointment. The frustration, the financial strain. We'd spent close to $60,000 on fertility treatments by that point, and we had nothing to show for it. When I was 48, the doctor sat us down and gave us the hard truth. "Mrs. Morrison," the specialist said, "I don't think your body can carry a pregnancy. The scarring is too severe. Even if we got an embryo to implant, the risk of miscarriage is extremely high. I'm sorry, But I think we need to consider other options. Other options: adoption, foster care, or surrogacy. We talked about adoption, looked into it, but the wait lists were years long, and there was no guarantee. Plus, Jake wanted a biological child. He was honest about that, said he wanted to pass on his genes, his legacy. I understood. Part of me wanted that too. Wanted to see Jake's eyes in our child's face. Wanted that biological connection. So we started researching surrogacy. Honey, let me tell you about surrogacy. It's not simple, it's not cheap, and it's not without risks. Gestational surrogacy, where the surrogate has no genetic connection to the baby, can cost anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000. That includes agency fees, legal fees, medical costs, and compensation for the surrogate herself. Some people think surrogates are just in it for the money. And sure, the money helps. But most surrogates I met genuinely wanted to help families. They'd been through pregnancy, knew what a gift it was, wanted to share that gift with people who couldn't experience it themselves. We went through an agency, Bright Beginnings Surrogacy, out of California. They had a good reputation, lots of success stories, professional staff. They matched us with several potential surrogates. We got profiles, photos, medical histories, personal essays about why they wanted to be surrogates. We narrowed it down to 3. Then did video interviews with each one. And that's when we met Melissa Chen. Listen, baby, I need you to understand something. Melissa was perfect. Too perfect. Looking back now, I should have seen that as a red flag. But at the time, I just felt grateful. She was 32 years old, Chinese American, beautiful in this understated way, long dark hair, kind eyes, soft-spoken but confident. She'd been a surrogate once before, successfully carried twins for a couple in San Francisco. Both babies healthy, no complications. The family gave her glowing references. She had 2 kids of her own, a boy and a girl, ages 8 and 6. Showed us pictures. Cute kids. Happy. Healthy. Her husband was supportive. Signed off on everything. Said he was proud of her for helping families. She worked as a freelance graphic designer. Could work from home. Had flexibility for appointments and bed rest if needed. And when we asked her why she wanted to be a surrogate again, she gave this beautiful answer. Pregnancy was the most amazing experience of my life, she said. Feeling life grow inside you, bringing a new soul into the world. It's magical. And I know there are people who want that experience, but can't have it. If I can give someone that gift, why wouldn't I? I cried during that interview. Actually cried. Because she seemed so genuine, so kind, so perfect. Jake loved her too. Said she had a good energy. Said he felt confident putting our future in her hands. We chose her immediately. The agency ran all the required checks: medical screening, psychological evaluation, background check, drug test. Everything came back perfect. Clean, ideal. We signed the contract. 25 pages of legal language, outlining responsibilities, compensation, medical procedures, what happens if things go wrong. All of it. We agreed to pay Melissa $45,000 for carrying the baby, plus all medical expenses, plus a monthly stipend for maternity clothes, food, and expenses. All told, we were looking at about $120,000 for the whole process. We had some savings, took out a loan for the rest, but we didn't care. This was our baby, our future, worth any price. Then came the IVF process. We did it at a clinic in Los Angeles, top-rated facility. They'd extract my eggs. Jake would provide sperm. They'd create embryos in the lab, then transfer the healthiest ones into Melissa's uterus. Simple, clinical, modern miracle of science. Or so I thought. The egg retrieval was painful. They put me under anesthesia, went in with a needle, extracted 12 eggs. Decent number for my age. Jake provided his sample the same day. Said it was awkward but quick. We both laughed nervously about it, trying to make light of this sterile, unromantic way of creating our child. The embryologist called us 3 days later, said they'd successfully fertilized 8 eggs, made 8 embryos. By day 5, they had 4 that were high quality, grade AA, best possible scenario. They froze 3, used one for the first transfer into Melissa. We were so hopeful, so excited. This was really happening. Melissa came to the clinic, got prepped. We were allowed to watch, saw the tiny little cluster of cells on the screen. Our future baby. Saw them transfer it into Melissa's uterus. We held hands, all 3 of us. Melissa, Jake, and me. Like we were all in this together. A team. A weird little family creating life. 2 weeks later, Melissa took a pregnancy test. Positive. She was pregnant. On the first try. After all my failed attempts, all my broken hope, Melissa got pregnant immediately. I sobbed. Jake cried. We called Melissa and thanked her over and over. She laughed and said, "This is what I do. I'm just doing my job." But it was more than a job to us. It was everything. The pregnancy was textbook perfect. No morning sickness, no complications, no issues at all. Melissa sent us weekly updates, photos of her growing belly, ultrasound pictures, videos of the baby kicking. She let us come to every single appointment, never made us feel like outsiders. At the 20-week ultrasound, we found out we were having a girl, a daughter. I picked out her name that night, Sophie. Always loved that name. Jake agreed immediately. We bought everything: crib, changing table, clothes in every size, toys, books. Decorated the nursery in soft yellows and whites. Made it perfect. Jake seemed happier than I'd seen him in years. Lighter, like a weight had been lifted. I thought it was because we were finally getting our dream. Now I know it was because his plan was working. At 38 weeks, Melissa went into labor. She called us at 3 a.m. We rushed to the hospital. I was terrified and thrilled and shaking the whole drive. We got there just in time. Melissa was already in active labor, progressing fast. Jake and I stood on either side of her, held her hands, coached her breathing. It felt surreal, watching another woman give birth to my child, but also beautiful, like we were all connected, all part of this miracle. Sophie was born at 6:47 a.m., 7 pounds, 3 ounces, screaming and pink and perfect. They put her directly on my chest, skin to skin. This tiny, warm little human, my daughter. I looked at her face, tried to see Jake in her features, tried to see myself. But newborns all kind of look the same, scrunched and red and generic. "She's beautiful," Jake said, tears streaming down his face. Melissa smiled from the bed, exhausted but glowing. "She's all yours." We brought Sophie home 2 days later, started our life as parents. It was everything I dreamed of and more. Hard, exhausting. I'd never been so sleep-deprived in my life, but also magical. This little person needed me, depended on me, loved me. Jake was a good father, attentive, changed diapers, did midnight feedings, took turns with me so I could sleep. Melissa stayed in touch, sent cards, asked for updates. We sent her photos every month, considered her part of our extended family, the woman who made our dreams come true. When Sophie turned 2, Jake brought up having another baby. "She needs a sibling," he said. "We don't want her growing up alone." I agreed. We'd always wanted multiple children, and we still had 3 frozen embryos at the clinic. We reached out to Melissa, asked if she'd be willing to carry for us again. She said yes immediately, said she'd love to, that Sophie was such a special experience, that she'd be honored to give us another baby. We went through the process again. Contract, payment, embryo transfer. Melissa got pregnant on the first try again. This woman's uterus was like magic. This time, at the 12-week ultrasound, they found 2 heartbeats, twins. Sometimes when you transfer multiple embryos, more than one takes, the doctor explained. You're having twins. We were shocked, overwhelmed, but also thrilled. 2 more babies. Our family was growing faster than expected. We increased Melissa's compensation. Twins meant more risk, more work, more recovery time. At 37 weeks, she gave birth to a boy and a girl. Both healthy, both beautiful. We named them Daniel and Emma. Our family felt complete. 3 kids, 1 girl, 1 boy, 1 girl. Perfect balance. Life became chaos. 3 kids under 4 years old. I quit my nursing job to be a full-time mom. Jake worked longer hours to compensate for the lost income. But we were happy. Tired, broke, but happy. Sophie was smart and talkative. Daniel was calm and observant. Emma was wild and fearless. They each had their own personalities, their own quirks. I loved them fiercer than I'd ever loved anything, and I never questioned where they came from. Never thought twice about the IVF process. Never wondered why they didn't look exactly like me. Because they looked like Jake. Dark hair, dark eyes, strong features. I figured they just got more of his genes than mine. Genetics are funny that way. Random, unpredictable. Or so I thought. 4 years passed. Sophie was 6. Daniel and Emma were 4. We hadn't talked to Melissa in about 6 months. She'd moved to Portland with her family. New job opportunity for her husband. She sent a Christmas card, but we've fallen out of regular contact. Life just got busy. You know how it is, baby. You mean to stay in touch, but days turn into weeks, turn into months. Then last month, my phone rang. Unknown California number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. Hello? Eve, it's Melissa. I smiled. Melissa! Oh my gosh, hi! How are you? How's Portland? I'm good, she said, but her voice sounded different, harder. Actually, I'm calling because I have news. Oh yeah? What's that? I'm pregnant. I was confused. Oh, congratulations. That's wonderful. Is it yours, or are you doing surrogacy again? She laughed, cold, mean. It's mine. Mine and Jake's. The world tilted. What? This baby. It's Jake's baby. And so are Sophie, Daniel, and Emma. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't process the words. What are you talking about? Oh, honey, she said, and I could hear the smile in her voice. Did you really think those were your babies? They're mine. Biologically mine. Jake's and mine. We've been together for 6 years. That's impossible. We used my eggs. No, you didn't. Jake bribed the clinic. Had them use my eggs instead. It was his idea. Said it would be easier this way. You'd get your babies. I'd get to have more kids with the man I love. Win-win. The man you love? I whispered. I love Jake, she said simply. And he loves me. We've been in a relationship since before you ever hired me. The surrogacy was just a cover. A way for us to build our family without destroying his life, without losing his income, his house, his reputation. Tears were streaming down my face. Why are you telling me this? Because I'm tired of hiding, she said. This 4th baby? We're keeping it openly. He's leaving you, Eve, filing for divorce. And he's taking the kids. Our kids. The ones you paid me $1 million to have. She hung up. I sat on the kitchen floor and screamed. just screamed until my voice gave out. Sophie came running. "Mommy, are you okay?" I looked at her. This little girl I'd raised for 6 years, who looked nothing like me, because she wasn't mine, had never been mine. "I'm fine, baby," I lied. "Mommy just stubbed her toe." She hugged me. "Want me to kiss it better?" I held her tight. "Yes, please." She kissed my knee, smiled, ran back to play with her siblings, and I sat there, holding the pieces of my shattered world. Jake came home that night. I was waiting. "Is it true?" I said. He froze. "Is what true?" "Melissa called me, told me everything. Is it true?" He closed his eyes. "Eve, is it true?" I screamed. Long pause. Yes. That one word destroyed everything. "Baby, let me skip ahead, because the details are messy and painful and repetitive." Jake filed for divorce, filed for full custody. I fought back, hired the best lawyer I could afford. But the DNA tests didn't lie. Sophie, Daniel, and Emma were biologically Jake's and Melissa's children. Not mine. Not even a little bit. The judge ruled in their favor, gave them primary custody. I got supervised visitation twice a month. Twice a month, from full-time mother to part-time visitor. So here's what I learned, honey. Money can't buy you family. It can buy you contracts, procedures, services, but not love, not truth, not loyalty. I paid $1 million for 3 children who were never mine, and I'd do it again. Because those 4 years, when I was their mother, when they called me mommy, those were real. Nobody can take that from me. Not Jake, not Melissa, not biology. I was their mother once, and that truth lives forever. Thank you for sitting with me today, baby. You are loved. You are seen. You are enough. God bless you, honey. This is Eve, and I'll see you next time.